collar because she lost it here on the 23rd, and I never got a chance to look for it that day because Glenn was acting up. So anyways, we were doing that, and I was at the northwest corner of my property, and I could hear Carl Bishop yell, and I'm sorry, I'm going to swear because this is what he said, "How fucking long does it take Scotty to go to the bar and get more beer and come back?" And immediately after that, Glenn yells, "Tim, how do you like your fucking trees?" Immediately after that. So I'm
assuming... And you were recording this at the time?
No.
But you said you would put your phone on as soon as you got to the...
Yeah, but then when I went to the back, I shut it off because I was out of range and I was just looking for my dog's collar. So anyways, I'm way far in the back. All right, and looking for this dog's collar, and I heard this. I thought, yeah, you know, all week I've been phoning saying, look, he's on a pisser. When he goes on a pisser, it lasts for a couple months. Now, I don't know if it's drug money or if it's money you guys are paying from an informant, but he has an endless stream of money even though he hasn't worked in years. And he has no RRSPs, no pensions, and he's not old enough to get CPP or old age. But anyways, long story short, I was in the back, I heard this, so I phoned you guys because he's hollering at me. Shortly thereafter, I went around looking for this collar that Jessie had lost in the back. I knew that's where she lost it because it's the last place I saw her with it on. So anyways, I was looking under vehicles and under a trailer and everything else, and that's when I heard him yell, "Tim, quit calling the fucking cops." So I had assumed that between the time I called 911 and him screaming, "Quit calling the cops," that, you know, one of you had obviously called Glenn and said that I spoke to him or something. But I'm not sure of that. Sometimes he could just say that because when they have a big piss up here like they did today and everybody takes off driving home, I report that because you guys have signs up all over the place, report drunk drivers. I don't drink and drive. It's got to stop. Like, I read the statistics and I'm totally against it. But anyways, that's when I phoned you the second time and said, look, he's getting on a piss up. Like, he's been drinking all day. He's right out of control. You look at what he did to my trees. He's right out of control. If you get a hold of 911 from the 23rd, he was totally out of control. And because he's getting away with it, it goes weeks and weeks and months with you guys doing nothing. He keeps doing it. One tree branch, they took and they threw it onto my quad, and they must have, I don't know how they did it. It's huge. And somehow they got it through the trees and onto my quad. And I'm sitting here going like, holy shit, that took some effort. It's getting ridiculous. And he gets more and more daring because you guys won't do anything. And then you guys go after me. So those are the two things I heard today. Now, everybody there was drinking. There was David James. He was drinking. I've even got his part. I think I took it from here because you guys always want to know who was there and do you have a license plate number and blah, 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 blah. So I went over to the corner here with my video camera and I just quickly videoed, and then I went back in my house. I was very quiet. I didn't make any noise, and I don't think they did too much. There's Scotty right now. You should give him a 08 because he's been drinking all day, and you just saw him drive in. He's been pissed all day. So anyways, like I say, earlier today, you might want to check the video from the bar. He, must have gone down to the bar sometime today, and he must have been there prior to, well, what was my call? 4 o'clock or something. So it would have been sometime just before 4. He must have left for the bar, and then he came back after that, like shortly after 4. And I'm assuming he must have made a beer run, you know. Well, that's what Carl yelled out. How long does it take him to go to the bar to get beer? So that's about all I can say.
So was there any threat?
There was a breach of his conditions, and with all the other threats, I can predict the behavior there pretty good. And if I would have had to stay outside I immediately went inside. I stayed in the back. I stayed out of sight, so there wouldn't be any threats.
Okay. Now you're recording me now. You started recording me when you came up.
Yep.
And you're still recording.
Yep.
And, but yet when you got here and you started recording them, you quit when you started.
When I went to the back, yeah.
But you didn't think there was a continuation?
Well, no, it was very quiet. It usually is when they see the video camera. It's very quiet. Now, my yard is 326 feet long. All right? So it's 1,180 square feet short of an acre. It's a huge yard. So I was way far in the back. I was probably 200 feet away from them minimum. And there's buildings in the way and trees and vehicles and everything else. So I'm like, hey, you know, we should be good here. But Glenn is a very loud person, and the hollering started. And yeah, I try to avoid it. You know, same as I did that Sunday. I wish I could have stayed inside the whole time. I had to go to work. So I had to finish loading my vehicle. As it is, I left most of my stuff. I left my tools behind. I left my retainers behind. I left my toothbrush behind. I left a bunch of clothes behind, just because I wanted to get out of there as quick as I could. I shouldn't have to live like this. And then when I get home, I see he's done all this damage to my property.
You had called in a complaint about that.
Yeah, but here's the thing. It's escalating. Like, he I don't know if he spent money, or he definitely spent time cutting down all these trees. They used a boom to come over to my side of the property line and cut the trees. Now, I've owned several properties, and I have no problem if a branch of one of my trees grows over to the neighbor's yard, cut the fucking thing off if it's bothering you. I have absolutely no problem with that. That is their right. That is the law. Go ahead and do that. But the minute you come over even 1 inch onto my property, and they did more than that, they came right over and just razzed these trees, cut them up ridiculous. A lot of these trees will have to be cut down because a tree goes in a Y and it has equal pressure on either side. And once you cut one side off, the other side will fall down. As soon as the snow hits some of these trees, they're going to be on the ground. I'm going to have to, and plus there's the disease factor. There's a ban from April 1st to August 31st. He knew about that. I talked to Kathy at the town hall today. The whole town's upset about this because they just can't believe this behavior. Not only that, have him throwing the trees on my property, or anybody throwing those trees on my property on his behalf,